Guys, another Adonis review. Today I'm going to do a shorter game called Trick to Yomi. I believe I'm hopefully pronouncing it correctly. Now this is a pretty straightforward title, so it shouldn't be a very long review. Now first off, the story for this game is pretty simple. You have a terrible childhood where your village gets attacked by an evil, terrible man, and then you grow up to go on an adventure, and it's basically like a revenge plot of hunting him down and killing him and whatnot. This is a shorter game. It spans typically between like 4 to 6 hours, I believe, at most, if you suck in there a lot. So it's not definitely a full length game. It's kind of like one of those games like Inside and whatnot, or Limbo. But it definitely has a unique art style to it, that's for sure. Now, secondly, we will also go into the way you typically obtain this game. I believe it is available on Game Pass. It might also be available on the PlayStation's version of that, whatever it's called, like PlayStation Plus, I don't know, Gold membership or something like that. So you do have a high chance of getting this game for free, I believe, as far as I can remember. I know I played it on Game Pass. I don't know if it's still there, but I think it is. It definitely isn't a full price game, so keep that in mind. Now, to go over the positives and negatives, I was pretty hyped when this game came out. I thought it was pretty awesome. One of the main drivers of, why this game looks cool and whatnot is obviously the artistic style in graphics. Now, if you can't tell or don't know from the plot, this is definitely like a side-scroller, classic-style arcade game-ish type look, so you're not ever going to do behind the shoulder or anything like that. It's always going to be you going left to right, fighting people in front of you or behind. Sometimes it can kind of allow you to adjust, but this is really a side-scroller game. So keep that in mind. Now, the graphics are truly stunning. As you can see here, they look amazing. It's 100% a step down, like, just a tiny step down from watching like a classic black and white fucking movie, a Japanese movie. It truly is sometimes hard to tell the difference between the game and if it could be a movie with how they do the artistic style. So it's very impressive, which is one of the largest selling points, I feel like, of this game. The atmosphere, the way they create these battles, it truly replicates, some famous movies in Japanese culture. So that definitely is well done, and they implement it pretty well. You also, sometimes the things about side scrollers is they seem old or boring or inactive, don't have that many, controls or functions, especially with it being short. I feel like with what they give it you do have a pretty nice array of ways to handle combat. I mean, it's nothing too insane, but they give you a pretty good list of different types of moves and attacks and ways that you can kind of make it creative. So keep that in mind. I mean, it's nothing overboard, but there is a little bit of diversity in it. They also kind of give you an array of kind of throwable weapons like bow and arrows and shurikens and shit like that. So it's not 100%, I don't know, limitless. There is a little bit of creativity in it. So kind of moving past that, like I said, those are kind of the main positives. The artistic style, a little bit of diversity in it. Just truly stunning, well-crafted art piece of a game. Negatives, I would say the story part's pretty bland. With a lot of games like this, sometimes the story can be mysterious and left wondering, which could be the selling point. There was a lot of times where I felt like I just wasn't getting the revenge urge as much as I was hoping. It just kind of eventually became like, where I could care less, and just was like, yeah, just get me to the end. I'm like, just give me to the person. Let me just finish this already. I never really felt that giant push to like fall into the story and be really, really into it. So it kind of was. It didn't really hold my attention quite well. So keep that in mind. Another thing is, yeah, they add in techniques and whatnot, so you don't just have like, light attack and heavy attacks, which is great. But overall, the fighting does get pretty repetitive. You're doing the same things over and over and over again, and it gets old pretty quick. Especially the way the combat kind of holds. Because essentially, at least on my playthrough, you kind of find like the move that you think is best, and you really just kind of stick with it. Like, okay, well, this is what stops me from dying, what typically kills them the quickest. So I'm gonna do it over and over again. So yeah, they give you different options, but it's not really a reason to use them. If you find something that works for you, you're gonna do that. And the way they kind of have the fights happen, you can't really play around because you'll die. So it's just like do what you do best, which is kind of a shame. And it gets old real quick, and it forces you to want to get forward because you don't want to die to repeat it again because it's boring. So that's kind of a shame. They could have definitely spiced it up with different types of enemies, and I don't know, made it a little bit more nuanced so you could enjoy the battles a little bit more and not be forced just to cheese your way to the end with whatever attack you think's best. Now, the final piece of the puzzle, I would say, would be the shortness of the game. It is pretty quick to the point, and it kind of is not really great pacing all around. You kind of go from set scene to set scene, and it almost seems like no rhyme or reason how you get from one place to another. You're kind of just running through the woods, and all of a sudden you're in a completely different dimension, kind of, where you're like, okay, well, how'd I get here? Like, seems kind of abrupt. Which I understand they have to kind of rush with the game, but I don't know. I just feel like it could have been done differently. But overall, like I said, this isn't like fucking The Witcher. There's not like a giant pole to hold this to. It's a, short 4 to 6 hour fun game, side scroller that's just to be, kind of artistic and fun to use. So you should never ever spend more than $40 on it, for example. This is probably, I'd say, standardly a $20 game, maybe. I think is what the valid price for it would be. I don't know what the common price for it is, but I'd say it should be $20. And you might be able to get it for 15. I don't know how lucky you'd be to find 10. Like I said, you'll have a high chance of getting it for free. Usually other places like Game Pass, so I'd aim for that if you're really looking to get it. Because obviously paying, a few dollars for Game Pass per month is cheaper than paying like $15 for it. Overall, it is a good game. They did great art style. Like I said, overall, the story was kind of bland to me. So, I thought it would be a great, enjoyable, awesome game that I'd be super deep into. But I ended up kind of wanting to just get to the end and call it a day and, put a checklist on my belt of like, okay, it's done, I beat it, let's move on. And I wish there was a little bit more to make me really want to keep playing it, and wish it was 10 hours long, which it doesn't really give. That's really the main problem. But the art style and all that fun stuff that they kind of sold you on is there, which is great, and it looks really good. So why not give it a try if you have a few hours? Hope that helps. Later.